the great attention to detail on every aspect of building up a modern institution. Father Gino Johnny, really hats off to you. I wish more and more people understand this. I've been very privileged to go around the world. In fact, my last count, I was in Puerto Rico 2 months back, that is in West Indies. Including that, my list of countries visited is 58. And every place I go, I make it, I convert it into an opportunity to speak somewhere. Somehow that has been my nature. When I see somebody, I look for an opportunity so that you interact with people there. And I have spoken in number of campuses, dozens in different countries in the world. I definitely rate the facilities built up here as absolutely world class. I just wanted to tell you about that. It's a great opportunity to the great attention to detail on every aspect of building up a modern institution. Father Gino Johnny, really hats off to you. I wish more and more people understand this. I've been very privileged to go around the world. In fact, my last count, I was in Puerto Rico 2 months back, that is in West Indies. Including that, my list of countries visited is 58. And every place I go, I make it, I convert it into an opportunity to speak somewhere. Somehow that has been my nature. When I see somebody, I look for an opportunity so that you interact with people there. And I have spoken in number of campuses, dozens in different countries in the world. I definitely rate the facilities built up here as absolutely world class. I just wanted to tell you about that. It's a great opportunity to participate in this inaugural function of TMA student chapters. I give a lot of importance to TMA as an institution, the role it has played and continues to play in developing the managerial ethos, the thought process, a high level of what really management is in this part of the world, which is very sadly lacking. Entrepreneurial talent, Trichu abounds in entrepreneurial talent. So much of talent available here. But the aspect of the modern management is, it was lacking, let me put it that way. The Chamber of Commerce, I used to be president of Chamber of Commerce here. Tamashiki parayum. Pala business shop തുറക്കുന്ന സമയത്ത് അവരവിടെ ഉണ്ടാവും. ആ പൂട്ടൊന്ന് വലിച്ചു നോക്കും ശരിക്കും. വൈകുന്നേരം ഷട്ടർ ഇട്ടിട്ട് പൂട്ടാൻ പറയും, 2 തവണ വലിച്ചു നോക്കുന്നത് ശരിയല്ല, എന്നിട്ടേ പോവുള്ളൂ. Because they don't trust anybody. That's the way they have been brought up. I'm not belittling our people. Our people are highly entrepreneurial. I was asked to write an article in an important magazine in Kerala about Dhanam. It's a business magazine, unbelievable quality. I don't think in any regional language there is a journal for business and management like Dhanam in Malayalam. So he called me, the Korean is a close friend of mine, so he asked me to write an article on the exceptional management talent, not management, entrepreneurial talent of Kerala. So I did extensive research, right from Trivandrum up to Kasaragod. I wrote to my friends to know about the big success stories of the entrepreneurs so that I could write an article. He wanted me to write about 10 most successful businessmen of Kerala. That was the job given to me. I took 6 months. When I finally made that list of 10 people, 5 were from Trichu. So I called Korean. I said, my research was out of 10, 5 from Trichu. Is it my Trichu prejudice that makes me list? He says, is it only 5 something? I think it should be more. He's not a Triturian because he says the Triturians have that exceptional entrepreneurial talent. I was just giving this example only to tell you that when I say this, we put it വിവരമില്ലാത്തോ ബുദ്ധിയില്ലാത്തോ entrepreneurial talent ഇല്ലാത്തോ I was talking about the modern management thought process. I was just thinking about that. Trichur Management Association is playing a very critical role in changing that into a more modern approach so that the boundless talent available in Trichur is channelized into something much bigger. And you already see evidence of that. I covered that during my lecture. So I just wanted to give it as an introduction. I'm so delighted to be in the midst of such bright talents, young students. You are the future of India. So it gives me immense pleasure to spend some time with you. I think the clock is slightly late. Just give me a hint if I have to stop in between because I think we are running a few minutes late. So just give me a warning 5 minutes before any time to stop. So my message to you, the first message to you is face the world with confidence. Not arrogance, but absolute confidence. India today is not the India of the past. When we were all young, after independence the country was evolving, we were very poor country, we were very timid, we were very defensive in our approach. When I first went abroad, very early in life, as somebody already mentioned, I qualified earlier, so I could go abroad very early. When I first went on an assignment abroad, I was asked questions like, oh, you're coming from India. I think there most people are poverty-ridden and they don't have enough to eat. And then you start facing like that. You immediately go defensive. But India today is so different. There is no reason to be defensive at all. It's the fastest growing major economy in the world. India is the fastest growing major economy in the world. We have the largest pool of qualified people in the world. And we are the most tech-savvy people in the world. And we have a functioning democracy. There's no reason to be timid or defensive or who am I and things like that. No, face the world with absolute confidence. There's no reason to be defensive. This is the first message I wanted to give you. A few years back, the most reputed magazine in economics and finance, the London Economist, I'm just quoting from that sentence, they wrote a few years back, I'm just quoting it. It is hardly news that the world's center of gravity is shifting towards emerging markets. India is considered to be still an emerging market in their language. I don't subscribe, but in their language. Emerging markets are no longer content to be source of cheap labor and low-cost brains. Instead, they too are becoming hotbeds of innovation, producing breakthrough in everything. This was a piece written by the London Economist. Now, they better accept that because we already have in our country today a startup ecosystem which in numerical order we are considered number 3 in the world. In the startup ecosystem, we are already number 3 in the world. At the last count, we have crossed 100 unicorns in startups. What is a unicorn? A unicorn is a billion-dollar valued company. Billion-dollar by today's means 8,000 crores value. 8,000 crores value. There are 100 startups in India which has crossed 8,000 crores in value. Just as a comparison, what is the value of the Lakshmi Bank here? It's a listed company, a bank which everybody knows. It is 350 crores. What is the value of South Indian Bank today? It is 2,200 crores. What is the value of Catholic Savings Bank? 172, about 4,000 crores. Startups, started by half a dozen youngsters like you, in some workshop or some backyard somewhere, like that they started. There are 100 already in this country. We are one of the best startup ecosystems. And when I say 100, when you look at some of you, I'm sure in the next few years, some of you are going to increase that number, right? Am I right in assuming that some of you will be there, start contributing as unicorns and making the number to 150 or 200? With working conditions, dilapidated factories and things. No, it's not that. It's more a knowledge-based society that we are living in. Innovation and disruption are the name of the game. There is no status quo. Every day, every quarter, every half year, every 6 months, new developments are taking place. Unless you are able to understand, adjust, adapt to the changing conditions, we have no existence. In every one of my speeches, I repeatedly quote an item from the best futurologist, somebody who could predict the future. His name is Alvin Toffler. He is dead, but still, his predictions are always worth reading. He has written 3 books. I keep them as my Bible or Bhagavad Gita because it's such wonderfully written books about what is emerging into the future. I always quote one sentence from him. It says, the illiterates of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write. It will be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and read. I'm repeating the sentence. The illiterates of the 21st century will not be those who cannot read and write. It will be those who cannot learn, unlearn, and read. And what does it mean? If you have got a fixed mind, not an open one, a fixed mind, and you are not willing to learn on a day-to-day basis, despite your MBA or PhD or whatever it is, you will be considered an illiterate in the modern day. So that is the key message I want all of you to understand. Technology is ruling the world. Technology is evolving, changing so fast. Let me give you a quote from the Human Development Report prepared by my parent organization, the United Nations Development Program, UNDP. It says, writing computer programs and revealing genetic codes have replaced the search for gold, conquest of land, and command of machinery as the path to economic power. Earlier days, maybe 50, 100 years back, the path to economic power was your command of areas, big oil fields, gold mines, and all those types of things. Those were the way you became rich. But today, it is no longer that. Your ability to write computer programs and reveal genetic codes, that is what gives you economic power. I'm giving you all this point just to tell you, you guys, as Manoj already told you in a different context, you are exceptionally lucky to be born in this age, because Indians are considered to be having the best technological brains, and technology is ruling this world. So you guys are going to rule the world. So I consider you to be born at this time. You are exceptionally lucky. Don't you believe me? Yes. I'll give you some names. I'm sure all of you have heard, but I want you to name them. Have you heard this name, Satya Nadella? Who is he? The chairman of Microsoft. You heard the name Sundar Pichai? Who is he? Head of Google. Arvind Krishna? Some of you may not have heard. Arvind Krishna is the head of IBM, the largest computer company, IBM. Have you heard the name Shantanu Narayan? Adobe. You can't run a business without Adobe. Of late, latest name to add, there is another youngster called Parag Agarwal. Who is he? Twitter. So when I say technology is ruling the world, and we Indians have a great advantage, I would say maybe an unfair advantage in the world scene, because our mind works that way. Because of that, We are respected anywhere in the world, unlike in the past. So you are definitely lucky to be born here. The world you are going to face is very different from the world that we faced in our independence. I'll give you many examples. The most important thing that comes to my mind today is availability of capital. In our days, capital was so scarce. It was just not available. You go to a bank, തൃശ്ശൂർ തമാശക്കെങ്കിലും പറയും സൗത്ത് ഇന്ത്യൻ ബാങ്കിലത്തെ സീനിയർ ഓഫീസർ വിളിക്കുന്നു. പക്ഷേ തൃശ്ശൂർ ഏറ്റവും വലിയ ബാങ്ക് ആണെന്നെങ്കിൽ ഞങ്ങൾ തമാശയായിട്ട് പറയും ചെറുപ്പത്തിൽ സൗത്ത് ഇന്ത്യൻ ബാങ്കിൽ പോയി ലോൺ അപ്ലൈ ചെയ്യണമെങ്കിൽ തേക്കിൻകാട് മൈതാനം സെക്യൂരിറ്റി ചോദിക്കുന്നു. I mean, Telugu Maidana does not belong to anybody. But unless you give this as security, you won't get money. Take South Indian Bank or years ago, then actually, being the largest, I just named South Indian Bank. That was the time. Money was just not available. What is the situation today? Capital is plenty. If you have the idea, if you have the ability to convince the guy sitting on the other side of the table, capital is not a problem at all. Let me give you the example from the bank where I was working. Not as an employee, but as a director of it. That is a CSB, what was called Capital Savings Bank. We were doing badly. 3-4 years, we incurred losses. So a bank needs capital continuously if you want to grow. If you want to lend money, the main business of a bank is to give loans. If you want to lend money, you have to have capital. You can lend only a percentage of the capital. So we wanted to raise capital. We approached our own shareholders. They gave us money once. That was all lasting losses. We went to our shareholders, please give us some more money. They were good. They gave that money. That also was finished by losses. So we can't expand. Then we thought, let's think bigger. We went to Bombay, talked to a group of people called private equity. They are people with a lot of money. They will give it to you, provided you can convince them about your growth story. If you could make a nice story, they are the brightest minds sitting on the other side. Before you tell one word, they know the second or third words in their minds. If you can convince them about what you're planning to do, really, and show some evidence of your ability, your commitment, your passion to do it, money is not a problem. I wanted to raise 1,000 crore for the next stage of development, went to Bombay, spent 3-4 months over there. I could raise $200 million. $200 million at that time was 1,300 crores. I wanted 1,000, I got 1,300 crores. Unimaginable 10 or 20 years back. So today, I'm telling you the world today is so different. I'm giving some examples. Capital is not a problem. Earlier, when we all entered the job market, I'm talking about 40-50 years back, we could think of only traditional business or industries. The best thing that we could think of was starting a small hotel, starting a small printing press, or a sawmill, or some of these types of things. That's all what we had in our mind. What about today? Thanks to the computers and the internet economy, the type of things you can start today. E-commerce. What is e-commerce? Can you name some company? Flipkart is a local company, Amazon, so many of those things. Learning apps. Byju's. And mobile shop, every corner you find mobile shops. Fast food. So many fast food, national chains with thousands of shops. Matrimonial sites. I'm sure many of you are registered somewhere there. The broking sites, share broking companies, so many share broking companies. You open the TV, you are flooded with so much of them. Broking sites, insurance companies, there was only one LIC. LIC and insurance are generic words. ഇപ്പോൾ പലരും പറയുന്നു ഇൻഷുറൻസ് എടുത്തോണ്ടോ ഞാൻ ICICIയുടെ LIC എടുത്തു. LIC എടുത്തു എന്ന് വെച്ചാൽ ലൈഫ് ഇൻഷുറൻസ് എടുത്തു ICICI കമ്പനിയുടെയാണ് അർത്ഥം. So there's so many options. Path labs, testing laboratories, national chains with thousands of branches, customer experience. There are so many companies specializing in customer experience. You have got data science, that's a new section developing. Customer experience and data science, they go together. That's said to be a huge industry. My second son-in-law, I've got two daughters, both live in America. The second son-in-law is a specialist in data science. Every day he gets a call for a new employment. He gets $1 million salary. Because data science is one of the few specialists. That's a new emerging line. So like that, there's so many things coming up today. Whereas when I wanted to start a business, a hotel a printing press. And a hotel and a hotel for sure. But today, I'm just flabbergasted by the variety of this and the wide range of things that you can start. Earlier, the market was very local. We couldn't think of a market beyond Trichy or Ernakulam or Kerala. But today, people sitting in Trichy do business all over the world. So the whole world is your market. Earlier, we didn't have one world-class company in India. I remember on one of my trips to Singapore, I had a chance to address an audience. This was, I think, late 70s. I was at the United Nations. I had a conference. So I'm always a big advocate of India. I talk always very big about India. I work in a dozen countries. Everywhere I speak very high. So there, somebody asked me, I distinctly remember, you are talking so much about your country. Can you tell us one company in India which is large or comparable to world standard? One company. There was nothing. Today you ask me, is there any company in India which is world class? I'll give you a list for the next 1 year, 1 hour. I will just name companies like TCS, Infosys. I'm sure you have heard of all these names. Hindalco is the company, the world's largest aluminum company. It is Hindalco. Hero Moto, world's largest two-wheeler company. Like that, the list can go on. Reliance Industries, the world's largest refinery. There's any number of companies which are world class. Now, so I'm giving you all these things to tell you that it is time for you to think big. In our days, we could think only small. We have a 200-acre plantation near Ullur, 200-acre rubber plantation. I'm talking about old story. We wanted an agricultural loan of 1 lakh. I'm telling you a real life story. Would you believe me if I tell you, I had just passed BCom at that time. My father was very busy in politics and all those things, so I had to do some of the housework. Myself and my brother went to State Bank of India and applied for 1 lakh loan because we wanted to plant under 50 acres of rubber. They said, you apply to Madras local head office, NHO, 1 lakh. I made 12 trips to Madras to get that 1 lakh loan. That was the time at that time. At the Tamasha, that loan was taken, closed. 6-7 years time they gave, we closed it, and we forgot about it. About 10 years back, myself and my brother were thinking about what to do with the properties and all. Okay, but the original document of the estate was missing. We couldn't find that document. So we were, we organized people, we keep everything and very nicely labeled and all. This was not available. So suddenly I thought, have we taken it back from State Bank of India? We repaid the loan 30 years back. We went to the branch and said, our document looks like we have not taken back. Our document, our staff is different, but the manager was a good friend of mine. So I mean, let me look at it. We looked at it and found the document because State Bank is safe place. So we went there next day to collect it. He said, the document is here, but there is one small problem. What is it? We have an agricultural loan target. Sam, you have to apply for a 2 crore agricultural loan. I'll give you that a 2 crore agricultural loan because we should still have a Kodakam. So I apply to a document that I think it that kind of which come just later I'm just trying to check how times have changed and how the India today is so different from the India of the previous era. So I want all of you to think big. The world is looking at India. Wherever we go, they are asking, what is the magic? You put a leader. Don't think I'm talking politics. That's not that I'm talking economics only. You put a strong administration, strong leadership. Your country has got a direction. And every other country has got so much of problem. Look at our neighbors. Indian rupee, Sri Lankan rupee, Pakistan rupee, we're all almost on par. But what is today? Despite the fall, a rupee is 80 rupees or 81 rupees gives you $1. In Sri Lanka, it's about 300, 400 rupees to $1. In Pakistan, it's about 225, 230 rupees to $1. We are still at 80. So, the whole world admires India for what it is capable of. How are you able to produce so many CEOs and chairmen for world-class companies in the world? What is the secret of your education system? So many things people want to know. And we are the youngest country in the world. Do you know that? Our population, the median age is 28.7 in India. In China, it is 10 years more. It is 38 point something. You go to Japan, another 10 years. It's 48 something in Japan. We are the youngest people in the world. We are the fastest growing economy in the world. We have democracy, demography, and demand. Democracy, everybody knows. What is demography? Young population. And demand, aspiring young people who can consume anything that is good. Such a large market. Our economic fundamentals are very, very strong. Our rupee is relatively strong. Our inflation is very much under control. For the record, the inflation in India today is less than inflation in UK or US. That's not always, but at this moment it is so. We are called a third world country, but please understand, we are the third largest economy in the world if you take purchasing power parity. That means in realistic terms. What is realistic terms? A coffee, if you go out, what will the price of a coffee here? 20 rupees? 10 rupees? Right. The same coffee in US, I was there for the last 3 months. As I told you, my children are there. I just went down the flat, took a coffee, it was $6. Not a 5-star hotel, just normally hotel. $6 is about 400 rupees. 500 rupees. 10 rupees. So you convert this into realistic terms, India is already the third largest economy in the world. Which is the largest, by the way? Largest economy? In normal figures, it is US. But in real terms, the purchasing power parity terms, it is China. China is the world's largest economy. US is the second, and India is third. So people calling us a third world country, no way. We are the third largest economy in the world. Now, when I talk about the world that you are living in and how much it has got advanced, how different we are compared to the previous times, I just want to give you some background on the few things that you should do to succeed yourself, because I thought I should include this small item. 5 minutes?
Yes.
Too late?
No. I'm getting
5 minutes, okay. So I just wanted to share a few thoughts with you on this based on my pure experience of, I have conducted hundreds of interviews, I have taken so many people abroad to many countries. I've been fortunate enough to sit in many interview boards and all. This is just a quick summary from your directly beneficial to you, not from any textbook, but from a pure experience. The opportunities in the market is unprecedented. There's so much of opportunities available. But remember, so is competition. Competition is also equally high. When I passed my BCom, being the first in the state, I got a job offer from Bank of India. At that time, Bank of India was considered the best bank. Job offer, officer post at the age of 17, an officer post job was, I still kept the letter in my files. But today, there are thousands of jobs in the market, in the banking sector, but competition, there are tens of thousands available. So, the thing is, only the fittest to survive. If you're mediocre, nobody wants you. You've got to be really good. So, that is one thing that you should always understand. Communication skills. When you go for an interview, if there is 2 posts, you might call 20 people. And remember, the guys conducting the interview, they are just bored with their job. They have 100 other things to do, but interviewing is not something that anybody looks forward to. So when you come for the interview, you have 1 minute or maximum 2 minutes to convince the interviewer that you are the person. You may be the best guy, but how does the other man know? 2 minutes, you should be able to convince them that you are the right person. For that, you have got to develop that communication skills, that confidence, that ability to present yourself. This is the best time to develop all those things over here. Develop the self-confidence. How do you get it? You don't get it from a shop. You get it by interacting with your fellow students, with your teachers, by participating in debates, discussions, and all these types of things. This is the time you're going to do that. Unless you're able to do that, show us that you have the right person, you have the ability to talk easily, convince us about your confidence and all, you don't get the job. Upgrade your skill sets. It's a continuous process. What we look for in person is not how much you know, how fast you learn. Because things keep changing. How fast you are able to learn. That is what we look forward to. You should be able to take some risk. Risk profile of each individual is different. There are people who don't, if you are from Kodagara, you don't want to go outside Kodagara limit. Lack of time, I'm cutting off many points, but I have to give you one example. I got some businesses in Trachur. One shop is in the round. That is my main head office. So I had a girl working there. We transferred it to Shangaraya Road. It's just a parallel road, about 200 meters. There was some need there. She resigned. So we asked her, next day, she brought her father. അപ്പോൾ എന്തുകൊണ്ട് റിസീവ് നല്ല കുട്ടിയാണ് നല്ല വർക്ക് ചെയ്യുന്നല്ലോ അതെ അത് സ്വാമി അത് റൗണ്ടിന് നമ്മൾ കുഴപ്പമില്ല അത് ശങ്കരിയ കൊണ്ട് വരുമ്പോൾ കുറച്ച് അകലെയല്ലേ അത് ഞാൻ ജോലിക്ക് പോകണ്ടെന്ന് പറഞ്ഞു. At the age of 25, I went to Africa. ആഫ്രിക്കയിൽ പോയി ഇവിടെ ജീവിക്കാൻ ബുദ്ധിമുട്ടായതൊന്നുമില്ല, but I want to go abroad. That was restricting. I went abroad, I could interact with people, get in the United Nations at an age where even Americans find it difficult to get in. It's because of the exposure I got, the risk-taking out there. That is different for each people. Some of you may be very lucky to have good parents, rich parents, educated parents, and some of you may have to support the family. Within that element, you should be willing to just venture out and go. Time management, that's another important thing. Time is a constraint these days for most people. Social media and all, people spend hours and hours. I'm told by my youngster friends that there are some people who look at this sites till 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning. Use it for education purpose, use it for a bit of entertainment, nothing wrong, we are human beings. But don't allot time for that, don't ever exceed that. Personal qualities, I give a lot of importance to exercise. Every one of you, I'll ask you to do some basic exercise, yoga, running, swimming, whatever it is, that keeps you agile and fit in your mind. At this age, some of us, all of us sitting here are agile and active. I'm 74. Well, one reason why I'm able to stand here and speak for an hour is the principal allows you to speak for 3 hours non-stop. If you're willing to listen, not today. So it's because ability that exercise that keeps. Then I would say smile at people, wish people, dress appropriately. It's a very complicated topic, dressing. What is appropriate dressing? I don't want to enter into controversy, no time. Then you could just say dress appropriately. Punctuality, keep your time. Very, very important. All these types of things. And last sentence, you are very lucky people, as I told you. Very good institutions you are studying. You will reach very big jobs, very prestigious jobs. 2 things I want you to remember. Integrity and values. Integrity. You will be tempted by various people to do various wrong things for big money or bribe or something. Don't ever do that. You are professionals. Integrity is very important. Social orientation. The society has been very good to you to give you all the privileges and benefits of studying in an institution like this. You have to give back to society. When you are in a position of employment or power, give back to society. Social orientation and integrity. If you don't have that, whatever position, power, praise you have, I won't consider your life as a success. With that one message, let me conclude my lecture. Thank you very much for your patient listening.